My name is Sage and I'm a junior doctor working in Germany. A couple of months ago, I was a struggling student, and today I really want to help out other people just like me to find smarter and better ways at studying but also navigating your 20s. I want to be that person for others that I wish I had at that time for myself. First one is you really have to learn to live with yourself. And so there are a lot of different quotes that I used to read up on Pinterest, and while I understood them, I did not understand the depth of them. So in my 20s, I've actually understood these quotes way better and have a completely new understanding of them. Wherever you go, you're taking yourself with you. A really great example for this is that your outer circumstances might change, but your inner circumstances do not ever change unless you change them. Your life will not change unless you change. And the best example for this is that whenever I was younger and I used to always run to catch the train because I was always running late, and it wasn't a lot, it was by 1 or 5 minutes, but it made a massive difference in my life. I started the day off with massive amounts of stress because I was running to catch the train and I was already sweating and stressed out. And then when I started to work just a couple of weeks ago, I decided that I really wanted to make a change and make a difference in my life, and therefore, because I was going to now take the car to another city just to work there, I knew that I couldn't be speed driving. It was not a possibility and it would really stress me out, especially because you have to be really careful driving a car. And so I really wanted to make a difference. Just a couple of days later on, I realized that the older habits were actually slowly creeping in and I wasn't actually going there on time. So I realized that I was also the problem, but also I wasn't changed. I didn't change just because I was not working, and I didn't change just because now I had a car, and now I have to make an active choice to actually get up earlier and get into my car earlier. And this applies to so many different scenarios in your life. You're going to take yourself with yourself wherever you go, whether it's a grocery store, school, university, home, parent, or any relationship that you have. My hot take is that you look better as you age, and the main reason why I'm saying that is whenever I go on TikTok and I see anybody that is in 30s and they show their pictures from their 20s, they always look better, and I love that. I really recognize that even I know how to style my hair better or just do my makeup better than when I was a teenager. And so kind of always evolve, and you always learn to style yourself better as you age. And because you're learning new skills and new ways to style yourself, even doing your color analysis is super helpful. This goes into the next point. This is another hot take, and I really believe that professional hair care, at least for this moment, is way better than any drugstore hair care that I have tried. Yes, there are a lot of products from the drugstore that I really love, but for now, because I bleach my hair for 10 hours, it makes a massive difference in my hair if I use professional hair care products. And yes, it does go into the finances a little bit. With professional hair care, there are a lot of chemicals that go into your hair, and the way that different chemicals work with each other has a really huge effect on your hair. When I was younger, I really did not know how to style my hair. I really hated my hair, especially because of the frizz, and I really didn't know how to style my hair. And now I've learned new techniques. I do think there is also more access on the internet. As we age, there will always be more information and more readily accessible information for all of us. The next one is stop testing out so many things. When I was younger, and even just a couple of months ago, I really wanted to test out different blushes from different brands because I really thought that it made a huge difference and maybe they would look different and maybe they would apply differently. But over time, I realized that at the end of the day, the color of the blush is just there and nobody's gonna notice it from which brand it is. And yes, I could test out a lot of different products, but at the end of the day, nobody's gonna know. But also there are so many products constantly coming out, especially when we look at makeup, and so I don't need to test out all of these products. It is fine if I just have the products that I already use. And I think this goes into Project Pan. I really love that, and I really participate in that as well, to just use up the products you already own. Whenever I now look at a new product, I always tell myself this is not better than what I already have, and so I really need to use up the stuff that I have before ever testing out new things. The next one is to do a closing shift at nighttime. It's kind of just like closing up everything at a bar or a restaurant whenever you're closing the shop. This really helps me to clean up my room, and I always set a time for around 10 minutes. Usually I'll listen to a Spotify playlist or YouTube playlist while I'm cleaning up my entire room. This gives me a set time where I am cleaning and I don't feel pressure because this helps me romanticize my life. I love TikTok trends, and I feel like there are trends that are evergreen that you need to kind of implement them into your life and make them to actual habits. Things that you do not like about yourself, somebody else loves about you. And while I actually forgot the example, but I remember the feeling. So this one time I didn't like something about myself and I was talking about it to this other girl and she said that she loved that, and I was so confused because I was like, how would you want that? But that made me realize that we all like different things, we all aspire to have different things, and you're aspiring to have this one thing from person A, but person A wants the stuff that you already have. And therefore I've realized to recognize whenever I don't like something about myself, I always tell myself somebody else wants to have this. The next one is trends are always coming back. A great example for this is that my mom used to always line her lips with a darker liner, usually a brown one, and then she would put in lighter lipstick, and I was like, that looks so old and bad, like why is she doing that? And now I'm seeing so many people doing that, and I realized every single trend is constantly coming back. You do not have to participate in every single trend, but it is really important that the stuff that some other generational people are doing, it was a trend in their time and it will probably become a trend in our times too. Trends are also turning more quickly than ever before. There are way more micro trends than ever before, which I do think is going to accelerate in the future anyways. And it is important to remember that if something doesn't match to your lip shape or your makeup or to your style of clothing, you do not have to participate in trends that do not match your lifestyle. Over time, I've really learned to be grateful for the stuff that I have. And an example that is very recent is I really want to have a job, and I also had a car, which I kind of knew I would inevitably have that. But now that I have that for a couple of weeks, I'm like, yeah, it's my normal life. Like, it becomes so normal to you, and I really try to write down in my gratitude journal the things that I'm grateful for. And every single time I'm going to work, I always try to remember to say I'm grateful for my car, I'm grateful for my job, because these are the things that somebody else is aspiring to do, but also these are the things that I really wanted to have just a couple of weeks ago, and now it has become my normal life. The next one is a really boring one, and it is budgeting. Now, it is really unsexy and unattractive, but it is really going to fundamentally change your relationship with money to a positive one. Because I used to just spend my money however I wanted because I wanted to have all this cool new stuff. And the reason why I did that is because I really thought that I was restricting myself whenever I would budget. What I told myself is I'm still going to budget, but I'm going to just write down all the stuff that I have bought and the way that I have spent my money. So this wouldn't restrict me. I'm just looking at the stuff that I buy, and already that helps me because I've realized where my money is going and where I'm spending it at and what is important to me in my life. So for the first month, I would actually recommend you to just write down the different categories and what you're spending in without actually criticizing it, and go from there. And that's it for this video. Until next time, bye.